Come on out. Meet me out front of the car.
Why? Why do you want me to meet you in front of the car?
What's that?
Why you want me to meet you in front of the car?
Because I said get out of the car and come up here now.
Welcome back to We the People University. My name is Abiyah, former police officer, and former sheriff's deputy. Why did I emphasize that? I'm about to read you guys this email. Now, I receive a lot of emails from current police officers and sheriff deputies. And they're not always the most pleasant emails to read. Like, they may say things like, bruh. What? Traitor. Whew. You know, sometimes they can get a little carried away. But anyway, this is more, I would say, the nicer emails that I'm about to read. Honestly, I decided to reply to this guy because I think he's wrong. And he's a cop for 38 years. So I want to share this email with you guys. I'm going to read this and we're going to talk about it a little bit here in a second. Now, what this video is really about, and for you guys who be like, you're doing a lot of talking. In this video, I am going to do a lot of talking. So if you want to skip ahead, I'll have the chapters down below for you guys to go. But this is going to be me addressing a current police officer, former cop, current cop, I believe. Right? So anyway, so he stated that I'm giving you guys bad advice and you guys are going to take a ride in the back of a police car, you know, and it's not necessary. So he starts off saying a few things. Let me just read this. Now, what these guys never do, they never tell me who they are. They always make up some random name, Big J Joe from such and such area, and I'm a police over here, or I don't know, something crazy, right? But this guy's name's Jay, and I'm pretty sure it's not Jay. But anyway, so Mr. J wrote me, and he states, I briefly saw one of your videos from 2 years ago, and this is an older video. How to refuse a DUI test, cops get on and dismissed. I have to say, I didn't watch the entire video. What? So you come out and tell me you really did no investigation, which is pretty much what we show on this channel quite often. You guys just come to conclusions and you don't watch the entire video, but came to a conclusion. Okay. He goes on to say, I did, however, listen to some of your advice to the viewers. I have been in law enforcement for 38 years in 2 states, and I don't lie to people. Here's the problem when cops say, and I don't lie to people. This is a video of a young man who the police sued because he placed the body cam footage of him being falsely arrested on YouTube. He placed the body cam footage of him being falsely arrested on YouTube. He blew triple zeros. He was not drinking, but yet he was arrested for DUI after blowing all zeros. And not only that, he actually decided to take a field sobriety test, passed it with flying colors, but magically he failed it. Here's another situation. Another guy, not intoxicated, blows all zeros. He's not intoxicated, but guess what? Goes to jail anyway. And here's another unfortunate video where a man definitely was not intoxicated, but he was suffering from a diabetic emergency, which can mimic a person being intoxicated, but police officers don't have the training to understand the difference between a diabetic emergency and DUI. They simply jump the gun, assume you're drunk, and that's what they did with this guy, and they beat him up. But yet this guy who's writing me the email, Jay, he wants me to believe, hey, we don't lie to people. And then you have the case of the woman who's walking in the parking lot, simply going into a daycare to pick up her son, and she was arrested for DUI. Now you guys may say, or you cops who watch this video may say, hey, listen, just because they're not drinking, that doesn't mean they did not have any drugs or something else in their system. Well, in the cases where we just showed on this channel, each and every case, it was neither. They had no drugs in their system. They were not drunk, but the cops lied and stated that they were drunk and falsely arrested these people. Cops don't lie to people. I don't lie to people. Well, Jay, if you don't, then I believe you if you say that. Hopefully you don't. But let's keep reading this email. Your blanket statement that cops will lie to you tells me I may be wrong. You were a disgruntled officer on a so-called righteous quest. But what if I am on a righteous quest? Why is that wrong? What if I do want to help people? Why is that wrong? I disagree with the disgruntled part because I walked away under my own free will. But what if I am on a righteous quest? Why is that so wrong? Like, unless righteous quest means something else that I don't understand. But I think we all should be on a righteous quest to help each other, learn our rights from officers, hopefully not like you, Jay. Let's keep reading. I also was assigned to DUI enforcement for 1.5 years. I haven't read or know of your bio, so I don't know what state you were an officer in. I understand each state has different laws. Let me explain to you, he wants to explain to me the law in Colorado. So none of your viewers take your bad advice and end up in the back of a patrol car when there is no need to be. In Colorado, when you are stopped by an officer for a traffic stop, now he's about to go over the laws in Colorado, which are actually laws in most states, if not every state in the United States. So it's not that I don't know this already. In Colorado, when you are stopped by an officer for a traffic violation and you show signs of intoxication, the odor of an alcoholic beverage on your breath, that's being 1, slurred speech / confused speech 2, bloodshot, watery eyes, poor dexterity, admission of drinking. All of these are indicators of possibly being under the influence. Not one of these in itself. I'm going to save the rest of the email for later. But let me show you guys what he's referring to. This video that I covered about 2 years ago, okay? I covered this video 2 years ago, and I'm trying to inform viewers that you are not forced, or you don't have to, you have the right to say no to a field sobriety test, okay? You do have the right to say no to a field sobriety test. Now, I'll be fair with Jay, okay? There was one thing I may have misspoken on. Doesn't change the effect or the outcome of what he's saying, but we're going to touch on that. Stay with me on this one, and let's look at this video of what's going on. I want to come back and address Officer J from Colorado, a 38-year veteran. Let's check this out.
What is the reason?
What is the reason? Because I'm going to check you for impairment. You've been drinking, you're under the influence of any drugs, we're going to check. Come on out.
What is your name and badge number?
Trooper Shaw, 1741. This is the last time I'm going to tell you get out of this car.
Is this a lawful order?
Yeah, it is a direct lawful order.
What is the law? What law did I break?
All right, you want to go this route?
What law did I break?
Today's video is brought to you by a YouTube channel by the name of Peter Kuryakov. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If you have not subscribed to his YouTube channel, please make sure you go and do so. Today we're going to take a look at the Kentucky State Police and a field training officer training his trainee completely the wrong way. We're going to start off by seeing where this Kentucky State Police officer demands a driver to get out of the vehicle, which is lawful, but the problem is he's demanding a driver to exit the vehicle so that he can perform field sobriety tests. So many people have fallen victim to this deceptive trick that the police pull. They make you feel that you have to take a field sobriety test, give you the belief or the understanding that it's a pass or fail test, make you believe that you can pass it, when in reality, you actually passing the test will never happen. Why do I say that? Because field sobriety tests are not pass or fail, nor do you have to take a field sobriety test if you choose not to. So you may ask, if the field sobriety test is not pass or fail, then why do police want you to take it? It's simply a test to collect evidence. That's it. It's simply a test to collect evidence. So the fact is, you will never pass, but you most certainly will fail. By no means am I encouraging anyone to drink and drive. We all need to be responsible and held accountable for our own actions. But the fact is this. A lot of people have gone to jail for DUI who never had a drink. For example, a diabetic-related emergency could mimic a DUI, and now you find yourself behind bars simply because you were having a medical emergency. So remember, the next time a police officer tells you, hey, come take this field sobriety test, you do not have to take it. I will say this, certain states, I'll use Georgia as an example. If you refuse to take a field sobriety test in the state of Georgia, you are agreeing to the fact that your license will be suspended. But here's the bright side of it. There is no evidence of a DUI at trial. Here's a spot where I stated that I will be fair with, what's his name, Jay, that I may have misspoken. Now, when I stated that you do not have to take a field sobriety test, that is 1000% true. Don't let any officer on the street tell you otherwise, else you may find yourself arrested for DUI, even if you are not DUI. Now, in the state of Georgia, if you refuse to take a DUI test, that does not mean your license will be suspended. In the police department that I worked for in the state of Georgia, if you refuse to field sobriety test, and I have enough probable cause that you very well may be DUI. For example, all the things that Jay listed, on the bloodshot, glassy, watery eyes, you can't keep your balance, you have slurred speech, you failed to maintain lane, several things over, okay? Now you refuse to field sobriety test. I have to make a judgment call. And at that point, if I had enough probable cause, at that point, I could make an arrest, okay? Now, once you are arrested, I'm requesting you to take a chemical test. Some people would still refuse the chemical test. At that point, your driver's license could be, most likely is going to be suspended by the state of Georgia, all right? And that is what will get your driver's license suspended, not the field sobriety test itself, okay? So it doesn't change anything. You are still not required to take a field sobriety test, Jay, okay? That doesn't change one thing. Citizens can say no to field sobriety tests, but most of you guys do understand this. When you sign the notice for, or the waiver for, or the contract for the driver's license, that's you sign the okay for implied consent, saying that you would give chemical tests if you are suspected of DUI. So be very careful, read your state laws to be sure. But remember this, it is not required for you to take a field sobriety test.
All right, let's go till April. All right, come on out, meet me out front of the car.
Why? Why do you want me to meet you in front of the car?
What's that?
Why you want me to meet you in front of the car?
Because I said get out of the car and come up here now.
What is the reason?
What is the reason? Because I'm gonna check you for impairment. You've been drinking, you're under the influence of any drugs, we're gonna check, come on out.
What is your name and badge number?
Trooper Shaw, 1741. This is the last time I'm gonna tell you get out of this car.
Is this a lawful order?
Yeah, it is a direct lawful order.
What is the law? What law did I break?
All right, you wanna go this route?
What law did I break? Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Front of the car. We're gonna make this.
You never say why you pull me over. You never say why you pull me over.
Because you almost hit the rear end of a semi truck.
That's not true. I'm not. You're lying to me.
Okay, I'm not, and we got cameras, so.
So is it against the law to almost hit somebody?
Yes, it is.
What is against the law?
Hey?
What law is? I had an obstacle on the road.
Following too close. 4511.34.
No, this is not right.
It is right.
You're lying to me.
All right. Now, take your glasses off. Do you have any medical conditions?
I'm not going to answer any questions.
Okay. Now, if you're not going to answer any questions, do you want to do a field sobriety test?
Negative.
Negative?
Negative.
All right. Why is that?
I'm not answering the question.
What's that?
I'm not answering questions.
Not answering any questions.
Yep.
So we're not going to go through any tests to make sure that you're okay to actually drive on the roadway and you're not endangering yourself or anyone else on the road. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to answer any question. I didn't say anything.
Okay. All right. You got all his info. All right, go back and start on his ticket. Follow the closing proclamation. Is all your address and everything current on your driver's license registration? That's a question you gotta answer.
No, I don't have to.
Okay.
Don't violate my rights. Don't tell me what
rights am I violating?
This is a question.
Yeah? It is a question. I'm asking you a question. Is everything current, which is a state law, to have your driver's license, the address of your driver's license?
Go find out.
I'm asking, I don't know where you live right now.
You don't have to know.
Again, we can go down this road. All right, is your address on your driver's license current?
I told you I don't want to have to answer any questions.
Okay. That's a state law, you understand that, right? Lift your glasses up for me,
Why?
because I told you to.
What law is this?
I gotta do the best I can to check to see if you're impaired. All right?
No, I'm not.
All right. Take your sunglasses off.
Is this a law?
Yes.
Well, Officer J, there's a cop we just watched and heard with our own ears lie to a citizen. And when the citizen asked him the question, is that a law? He said, yes, it's not a law. And honestly, you know, some cops don't even know what a lawful order is. A lawful order is simply an order that you give a citizen to obey or follow a law. And if there's no laws being violated or broken, then there's no authority that that cop has. And I get, Jay, I get what you're saying. You're saying don't make a blanket statement that all cops lie, but I'm making a general statement that we see most cops, damn near all cops lie, okay? And if you're that special case, and I do think special cases do exist because I consider myself a special case. But if you're that special case, Jay, hey, if it don't apply, let it fly. But in general, cops do lie.
I am giving you an order.
But you can give me order to cut the grass here. Do I have to do it?
That's not a reasonable
I don't
request.
care. I don't care. You're harassing me. Stop harassment.
This is not
And
harassment.
stay 6 feet away from me. It's a COVID.
No.
I'm scared of you.
Right here.
Don't tell me I'm not your dog to tell me we're here.
Right here.
I'm not your dog. Turn around. Not your dog to tell me. Sit.
Take your sunglasses off for me.
Why?
Because I need to look at your eye.
No, you don't have to look at my ass.
Take your sunglasses off.
No, I'm not gonna take my sunglasses off. My eye hurts.
Your eye hurts?
Yeah.
From what?
It's not your problem.
Okay. Do you need a squad?
No, don't worry
You
about
don't
it.
need a medical assistant.
I don't need anything. I just don't need you to harass me.
How am I harassing you?
Stay 6 feet away from me.
No, sir.
What crime you suspect me committing?
Traffic violation.
This is not a crime.
It is a crime.
This is not a crime.
Then contest this in court. By
This
all
is not a
means.
crime. You
Give me all the
cannot.
court information that you need to get
This is
thing
not a
fixed.
crime. I'm scared of you. Stay away from me.
Keep your hands out of your pocket.
So is there a law that say I have to keep my hands out of the pocket?
Yeah.
What
I
law
asked
is this?
Now, the two options are you either keep your hands out of your pockets or I'm going to pat you down, make sure you don't have any.
No, I don't want to be touched.
Then keep your hands out of your
And
pockets.
and you're a sergeant. I just want to let you know that he's a real piece of trash. You know, this guy. This guy. Father, if you have a microphone, the boots.
So you guys saw the video and you saw what happened in the video, and it's up to you guys. Take the advice, go back, research it, see who's right, see who's wrong. But this is the video that prompted Officer J from the state of Colorado to write me. Again, the reason I even responded to this email, and I want to finish reading the email right now, the second portion of it. The reason I responded to the email because, you know, it wasn't as crazy as some. What? I decided to take the time, but let's finish up this email. It says, in Colorado, when you are stopped by an officer for a traffic violation and you show signs of intoxication, for example, the odor of an alcoholic beverage on your breath, slurred speech or confused speech, bloodshot watery eyes, poor dexterity, admission to drinking, all of these are indicators of possibly being under the influence, not one in itself. A combination of these constitute reasonable suspicion. Here's why I want you guys to pay attention. In his email, he states, after he lists off 5 of the possible indicators, he says, all of these are indicators of all of these are indicators of possibly being under the influence. In parentheses, he says, not one of these in itself, but all of them collectively are indicators that you may possibly, keyword being possibly here, be under the influence. But a couple lines later, he says, with that, all of those indicators, with that, I can ask the driver if they would consent to voluntary roadside maneuvers, field sobriety tests, voluntary roadside maneuvers. This helps me determine the level of intoxication. You just said, Officer J, even all of those things are only possible indicators, because if you know, you know, and Jay, I don't think you know that a diabetic emergency could mimic an intoxication, right? That's why you said these could possibly be indicators that you are intoxicated. But by the time you get to the third line from that point, now you've made up in your mind that they are intoxicated, and you're just going, these things are just determining the level of intoxication. This is where it goes wrong. This is a very small, minute thing that we have to pay attention to. The switch in the mind of a cop. All right. You may possibly be intoxicated, but now let me determine the level of intoxication. We haven't even determined if you are actually intoxicated first. That must be defined in stone that you are intoxicated first. Now let's determine the level. He went from you possibly being intoxicated to the fact that you're definitely intoxicated. I'm just determining the level. So if you have a bad knee, oh, well, you're a little more intoxicated than I thought. You have a bad eye or you're poor balance because you had a hip surgery or something. Yeah, you're definitely intoxicated. That may sound far-fetched to some. And if it does, that means you have not been watching this channel, because we've covered a lot of videos where police officers have falsely accused people of intoxication and they were nowhere near a drink. This helps me to determine the level of intoxication. Maybe where you are from, nobody passes the maneuvers, but I have had many people pass the maneuvers. These people were not arrested on DUI charges. Well, Officer J, I just showed you examples where people passed the maneuvers or the field sobriety test, and they also blew all zeros, and they were still arrested because the officers, guess what? They lied and arrested these individuals. And again, Officer J, if it doesn't apply, then let it fly. But don't tell me that police officers don't lie. Well, me and you both know that's not true. Now, I will be fair again, and I will say this. There's always an exception to the rule, okay? But the exception does not compare to the rule. The rule, the exceptions, they don't compare. Let's keep reading this email. If there is a reasonable suspicion of intoxication and a driver refuses to perform voluntary maneuvers, field sobriety test, and a portable breath test, I can take them into custody and advise them of express consent. In Colorado, an officer can take them to a blood or breath test. If they refuse to take a test, their driver's license is revoked for 1 year and they are booked in for DUI. It sounds like from your video that this is not a big deal to you. I wonder how many people that have watched your video and take your advice end up going to jail in Colorado. And yes, the roadside maneuvers are used as evidence in court. I think you fell short of reading some case law. I would say buyer beware with what you are selling. You guys tell me, what did Officer J say in this email that I did not see in the video? We know that your driver's license can be suspended if you refuse the chemical test, you know, the blood test or the breath test that he was talking about. And guys, understand this. The portable breath test on the side of the road, the little yellow gun-looking thing with the white tube, that's not the breathalyzer that's being referenced. It's a bigger machine that's found at the police department or different places at different times. But the blood test, the breathalyzer, those are the chemical tests that we talked about, that your license could be suspended if you refuse to take those tests. So I'm trying to figure out with Officer J, like, what is he talking about? Okay, we know, hey, if you're DUI, you can be arrested. And if you're not DUI and here's the main point. Let me just get right to it. If you're not DUI, and you know you're not DUI. Now, if you're driving drunk, I'm not making this video to help you out. Like, you should not be driving drunk. But if you know you're not under the influence of anything, yes, refuse the field sobriety test. It's going to place the officer in the position to make him question himself. Do I have enough probable cause to conduct an arrest? And if he chooses the wrong one, it helps you if he says, okay, I'm going to place you under arrest, and you have not taken the field sobriety test. Guess what? He just admitted in his email, yes, they are used as evidence at trial, okay? But if you refuse to take a field sobriety test, well, guess what they don't have? Well, that bit of evidence is out of the window. Now, yes, he can take you down and get you to take a blood test or a breath test, but guess what? When they use that at trial, if you are truly not intoxicated, well, then at that point, that helps you. But if you go out there and you take a field sobriety test, and you have a bad knee, bad hip, bad eye, whatever the case may be, and they try and use that at trial. Look, he felt this portion of the test. He felt that portion of the test. What happens if they only give you a breathalyzer? Yeah, you may blow all zeros. Okay, but then they can say, well, maybe he was high. All right. They try and use other things. So be wary of this. Be wary of, these type of emails from officers like Officer J. Okay, don't take a field sobriety test. Don't give them extra ammo to try and lie and use against you at trial. Make your attorney's job as easy as possible. Okay, and you make your attorney's job as easy as possible by exercising your Fifth Amendment right. Okay, keep silent. Don't take any tests. All right, and don't drink and drive. Don't let that be you. Take the power away. Know your rights, and always record the police. With that being said, We the People University, signing off. If you're one of the viewers who reached out saying that you're not getting any of the We the People University notifications, I have a solution. By texting WTPU to 844-764-2158, I can personally notify you whenever we publish videos. Text WTPU to 844-764-2158 and you will receive a text message notification with the link every time we publish a video.